Which is? In a swimming pool. Matt? What do you call a guy without arms, legs and head in a swimming pool? Bob. What do you call a Mexican lady with one tooth? Juanita. I told you, sick jokes. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, wrong set of glasses. Right set of glasses, maybe. Not good, not good. All right. Please lie on your back. We can turn off the central lights, yes. As the day gets darker, we'll put the lights back on, but I think we can have them off for the moment. So as you're lying there, please recall some of the things that we did in yesterday's awareness through movement lessons. And recall them in any sequence as they appear to your mind. They don't have to be in any order. This is actually a great practice to do in bed in the morning when you wake up. And when you're in that half sleeping, slumbering state, you just start to bring to mind little bits and pieces that you remember from an awareness to movement lesson you were doing yesterday or the night before, and they come to life again. So please roll yourself to sit. And sit in the asymmetrical fashion. You choose which leg you want in front. So notice, which leg have you put in front? And why? Why this leg and not the other? So just asking yourself that question alone, why this leg and not the other? How come? What's the difference? That could occupy you for quite a while. So sit with the leg that you prefer in front, and then please take your right arm, put it behind your head, and hold some part of the left side of your face Or if that's difficult to get to, some part of the left side of your neck. So long as the arm is kind of wrapped around you a little bit. And make a distinction that I didn't talk about yesterday, and that is, how heavy does your arm weigh on you? Do you just let the arm fall kind of into you, and it's the whole weight of the arm just sitting there on your neck and your head? Or are you carrying your arm in itself? In other words, you're not resting the arm, bearing the weight on your neck. Try a little bit of both. See what the difference is. One, just sort of wrap it around and think that you've just put a wet towel around your head and neck and just let the wet towel sit on you and feel what that's like. And then the other one, just think that it's a living arm, and the living arm is holding itself there, but not overly tightly. An arm with a shoulder blade that can move freely around the back. So there's another distinction about how to organize yourself for this. Now place the left hand in front, and a few times direct your right elbow towards the floor somewhere in front of you. At the moment, no. So remember yesterday you explored a little bit where to put that hand in anticipation of the elbow going down. So there's a place where that hand can be where you don't necessarily have to shift it very much. You just need to bend the arm and the elbow goes down. Where is that place that you put the hand? And you could do a few repetitions and then take the arm away and then rest and then do a few repetitions and put the arm back and rest and all of that. It doesn't have to be a machine gun approach. You can even uncross your legs, have a rest and then come back. So you know, we're really more interested in the quality with which you direct yourself than the actual movements themselves. And I'll say that again because it's really important. We're more interested in the quality with which you direct yourself than the actual movements. They're like a side benefit. You get that as a bonus for directing yourself well. For being a curious, engaged learner. Or, how I like to put it, a good human being. And now continue what you're doing, but switch the legs the other way. I told you, it didn't matter. So really do know that the designs of the lessons kind of help out a little bit. You don't have to concern yourself with the design. But don't let that stop you asking questions. Questions are always welcome. And with this leg in front, how is it different? Still the right arm wrapped around. Now how many repetitions should you do? How long should you keep going? Until you found your answer. How is it different? And now switch legs around again. And place your left hand on the floor. And bring your right elbow as close to the floor as you can take it while enabling yourself to breathe. And then think of going around to the left and then returning. Yeah, around to the left and returning. And ask yourself, does this position of your legs allow you to do that easily, or do you have to change the positioning of the legs to go round to the left? So now it's not so much a question of comfort and where it feels easier for your legs. It's a question now of what configuration of the legs enables you to go around to the left easier. Different question. And some of you I've seen have already made a change, which means you understand some sort of relationship between the legs and the head and the trunk and how your pelvis needs to move. That's a demonstration that you understand. Understanding does not always mean that you can explain it in words. So continue on around to the left and think of going kind of onto your left side and then coming back. Kind of like just revisiting some of the things that we did yesterday, just to refresh you a little bit more. And as you recall more and more, you can remember how you went to lying onto your back, and you can recall how you came up to sitting. And for the moment, when you return to sitting and you're facing front, remember something about facing front? Leave the elbow low. Stay low. Never bring yourself upright. Okay. Now, if there is any moment that you feel you need to heave yourself up, you know, like you've really got to push to get up, that's an interesting moment. Because eventually, sometime down the track, that won't be necessary. And knowing that it's not necessary gives you the idea that, oh, maybe I can find a way not to have to heave myself up. Maybe there's something that I could do with my breathing. Maybe I could breathe out at that moment when I start to feel I need to heave. Maybe I can just slightly move my pelvis differently. Unclench my jaw, tell a joke to myself. Something. And the first thing that you might experience is the heave becomes less. Instead of being a big heave, it's a little heave. And then becomes less and less and less until it's heaving no more. Next time you find yourself on your back, please stay there and rest. And now as you're lying there, wrap your arm around the back of your head, the right arm. And imagine to yourself that you've just arrived there, having gone around to the left and you've just arrived onto your back, like it's a moment in time. And from this moment in time, imagine yourself continuing on around to your right and coming up to sitting to your right. And most of you did that yesterday, so recall the feelings of it and start to do it. And with every repetition, something else will come to your mind, because that's what happens. You move and then you remember something. Oh yes, I did this. Oh, and oh yes, I did that. And I had to move my legs like this to let my pelvis be free. That's nice. And remember something about that hand, that left hand, sort of sweeping around on the floor? Otherwise, the hand, the arm, that left arm can act like an anchor. And you know what an anchor does? It kind of moors you into one place. It holds you back. So by sweeping the arm around, you're assisting yourself go around. You're not anchoring yourself somewhere back there. And I can see with some of you that you're starting to find that there's a relationship between that right knee and that right elbow. When that right knee starts to head towards that right elbow, ooh, that's kind of the right direction. And you can come up and over. That's it. And then the left leg tucks behind. Yeah. Use the left hand. Use the left hand. That's right. That's right. A momentary heave is okay. After a while, it's not necessary. When your chest gets softer, you won't need to do it. That's it. Look, you just did it beautifully going down. Really nice going down. That's it. And that's a chest. That's a good, yeah, nice. So go back and forth a few times. All the way around to the left, and then all the way around to the right. And then figure out, what is it that you do with your legs to not go backwards and forwards like a washing machine, you know, whoop, 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 top loaders, whoop, backwards and forwards. What happens if you just wanted to keep going all the way around? What would you do with your legs? And that really is an open question. I'm not looking for a right way, I'm just looking for your solutions. How do you change your legs over to just keep going around? That's it. So you go around to the back, you end up lying on your back, you extend the legs. Oops, one leg's under, that's okay. You roll around to the left, you come up, there you are, and ooh, and then you start back the other way. You go around to the left, around to the left, around to the left, onto your back. What happens with the left leg there? What happens with the left leg? That's it. And you go round to the right, around to the right, around to the right. Aha, nice. So there's that timing of the legs. When to have them long, when to have them close into you and bent. When to have them long, when to have them bent. It's sort of like this in-out oscillation. From being long to being compact, long and compact, long and compact. That's it, and the arm just keeps going around, and the elbow goes towards the ceiling, the left elbow goes towards the ceiling, the left elbow goes towards the ceiling, yeah, that's it. stay on your back and rest, please. Roll up to sit. Sit with your legs in that asymmetrical position, whichever position is easier for you. And maybe just make a quick note where the positions are starting to feel a little bit easier each side. Raise your right arm towards the ceiling, place your right arm behind your head, touch some part of the left side of your neck or face, and keep your hand there. And start to move yourself in such a way that the tip of your elbow goes left and right in the air. Not forward and back, left and right. And for those of you who would like to try, you can place the left hand on the elbow. Try it like that. For those of you who don't feel like you need your hand. So left and right, and feel whether you have a preference. Do you go further to the left than you do to the right? And now, whichever direction is smaller, so if the movement is smaller to the left, make the right the same size as the left. And of course, if it's the other way around, in other words, equalize the size of the movement, left and right, following the smaller side. Not trying to make the small like the big, but to make the big like the small. Feldenkrais Magic Trick 672. Remove your hand, change over your legs, and then continue. Now, for some of you, in this position, putting your left hand on the floor is not possible. For others, now you can put your left hand on the floor because your leg position allows you to do that. And just think of that elbow, the head, the shoulders, oscillating left and right. How far down through you can you feel this oscillation? To the level of the middle of your chest? The level of your waist? Can you feel the oscillation against the floor underneath your buttocks? Can you feel it in your legs? change legs over again. And continue. And could you all put your left hand on your elbow and go left and right. And now with that hand up there, you've got extra weight at the top. Yeah? But suddenly there's more weight stacked up at the top. And maybe a useful image to have here is if you think of your body as a spring, a nice resilient spring, and with a heavy ball balanced on the top. And you're making that spring rock left and right. Nice, springy, resilient spring with a heavy weight on top, and you're just oscillating left, right, left, right. That's it. Yeah. Notice what the rib cage has to do. Notice how the spine changes shape, how it bends through its length. You're starting to find movement through the middle of yourself. And now do something strange. Replace the image of the spring with a stick. Think that your spine is a stick that cannot bend, and oscillate like that. Now when you're using images like this, it's quite a discipline. A stick cannot bend. All right, an iron rod. Some of you have saplings. An iron rod. Yeah, iron rods don't bend without a lot of force. Notice how your rocking is different when you think of your spine and your torso like a rod, not a spring. Notice what happens with your breathing. All this weight at the top, and you're trying to oscillate. How do you counterbalance? And now just return to the image of the spring. Let the spine become a sapling, blowing in the wind. Oh God, poetry. All right. No, but really, think of your body as a living thing, living, flexible. Let yourself do what's needed through the middle of yourself so that you can breathe and still take the right elbow left and right in a very rhythmical, even oscillation. Excellent. Stop and rest, please. Attend to your breathing. Now, a moment ago I used two different images, one of a spring and one of a rod or a stick, unbendable. Now, there are no such big structures in your trunk like that. It doesn't exist. So to create those images, in your movement, you have to then mobilize yourself in a certain way to either stiffen yourself or free parts of yourself. Attend to your breathing still and just simply stiffen your torso like you're trying to be a stick, not movable. Notice what happens to your breathing. Because to hold yourself stiffly like that requires the muscles of your whole trunk to contract. What's the effect on your breathing? And now, let that be. Let go of that image. Don't be a rod. Don't be a stick. Unless you like the effect. Notice what happens to your breathing. And what parts of yourself are moving when you unstiffened yourself like this? When you're breathing. Without being in a hurry, roll up to sitting in that asymmetrical fashion with the right leg in front. And now take your left arm towards the ceiling and then place the left hand somewhere on the right hand side of your face or your neck. And lift your right arm out to the side, more or less shoulder height. And now slowly start to turn your arm forwards around itself. And then return. Just do that many, many times. Turn the arm forwards. And find out, how far can you turn that arm? Well, yeah, what can you do in the middle of yourself? So if you're not a stick, if you're not a rod, and you want to turn the arm further, what could you do in the middle of yourself to keep turning the hand? Now, if you think about the shoulder, the right shoulder, and that the right shoulder is involved in this turning motion. It's not just the wrist, and it's not just the forearm, and it's not just the upper arm, but think of the arm as being from the shoulder blade onwards. So turn the shoulder blade, turn the arm. That's it. And feel how that goes into the chest. That's it. Now if it goes into the chest, which direction does the pelvis move? That's it. Notice if your elbow, your left elbow, is getting closer to the floor, in front. And lower everything. Rest in sitting or rest in lying, your choice. Now this particular movement that you're doing now is an excellent example of knowing something from a from a mechanical point of view and also knowing something in your experience. You know that Feldenkrais studied jiu-jitsu and judo. So he probably had his arm twisted many times. And he knew how to get out of an arm twist because learning judo and jiu-jitsu means you learn how to get out of holds. And one way of getting out of an arm twist is to actually do a forward roll and flip. So how did he come up with this variation? How did he even think of sticking the arm out to the side and doing this movement in order to get the chest flexible? Because he had that experience. It somehow, he remembered it. He thought, oh, this might be an interesting thing to do, to try to get into the chest to make it work, to make it round and flexible. And I wouldn't necessarily talk like this in a usual awareness through movement class, but you're in a training program, so it's nice for you to know these kinds of connections. That this is why you're doing this movement maybe right now, rather than something else. Come up to sit again. Same leg in front, right leg in front, left leg behind. Left arm wrapped around the head. Raise the right arm out to the side. And now go the other way. Turn the arm the other way, backwards. And notice, where does your chest go? Does it go towards the floor in front, or does it go towards the ceiling when you turn your arm backwards? Now there's 3 places in your arm that can turn. You can turn at the elbow. You can turn at your shoulder joint. And then there's a gliding movement in your shoulder blade that also allows turning. Think of all 3 places, not just the elbow, not just the shoulder joint. That's it. And now go both ways. Turn the arm around itself forwards, turn it around itself backwards, and pay attention to the movement of the pelvis. Which direction of turning the arm tilts the pelvis forwards? Now what do I mean by tilts the pelvis forwards? If your pelvis was like a bowl, it would be tipping the water out the front of the bowl. That's tilting the pelvis forwards. And which of these arm movements tips the water out of the front of the pelvis forwards? That's it. Could you touch your elbow to the floor? Oh yes, look at that. No hands, Mum. Nice. Good. Leave that and rest completely. So could you please all come to sit? And let's have a look at Carolyn. Do you mind showing something? Because you just did it so nicely. You want to sit in that position and take your left hand above your head and take your right arm out to the side. And just take your arm, rotate your arm forwards and backwards. That's it. Do it badly. Yeah, just do it. Don't worry. Yeah, that's bad. That's so bad. That's terrible. That's very good. You should do it badly more often. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, do it again, please. So if Carolyn's pelvis is a bowl, can you see how the water would be tipping out the front here? Yeah. And you've got all hot. I know. But you actually did something that you weren't doing before. It's like you were able to bring your elbow to the floor and look at the chest. Look at this. Cool. Yeah. And now, but the other way. No, come back. So this you don't understand so well. Yeah? Yeah. So come back. So let me assist you a little bit. This is an answer to your question. Yeah? So where's front? Can you see front? Yeah. So if you're turning, so where can the arm turn? The arm can turn here. Yeah. Or it can turn or here. This you don't know about. Oh. Yeah, there we go. This you don't know about. Now, let's slow down a little bit, shall we? There. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Oh, I see. So it's the opposite direction.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now, what would happen if you thought of motivating everything from the shoulder so that it flows from this way out, not from the hand in? Yeah? That's it. And now motivate it from the shoulder. Think of bringing the shoulder this way. There we go. And then this way. Beautiful. That's it. Good. Good use of that ball. That's great. Let that be and rest. Yeah?
Thank you.
Did that make a difference when I brought my hand here?
Much easier.
Yeah. So
I've got a shoulder now. Shoulder blade.
I like that turn of phrase. I now have a shoulder blade. It's not like she didn't have it before. But perceptually, Carol, she now has a shoulder blade. It makes a big difference. Yeah? So could you all copy? So come back to that position just a few times, and instead of thinking of the movement flowing from the fingers into the shoulder, think that you want to drive everything from the shoulder. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
If I fly from this on the floor, should I put this on the side that's not touching on the side?
The side that supports you more. In other words, the side that's not touching. Yeah. Yep. And now switch legs over and switch arms over. And could you please explore the same thing on the other side? And go slowly. Go slowly. Break it down for yourself. First one direction. Get very clear about rotating the arm forward so that you don't have to deal with a lot of variables. Too many variables gets very confusing. One direction and then return to looking forward. One direction, looking forward. That's it. And then the other direction, turning the arm backwards. And now your back has to do something completely different. Your back now has to arch, not round. Can you feel that? Some of you are actually doing it really nicely. Yeah, there it is. That's the beginning of an arch there. Yeah. Oh, I just saw a variation. Look at your hand, please. Yeah, so you can see what it's doing. That's nice. Yeah. So here the chest lifts, and here the chest drops. There we go. That's it. Nice. And please rest completely. So believe it or not, Feldenkrais does have jargon. Yes, you start to acquire these funny ways of speaking, and when you talk to people, they cross their eyes and they go, huh? What? One of the jargons is, oh, can you feel how your head is connected to your pelvis? It's like, what? Well, well, you know, speaking structurally, it's connected, of course. You know, there's a spine that links the two. The crucial thing is the feeling part. Can you feel that they're actually connected? Most people don't feel, full stop, bodily connections. So the connection exists. It's just like Carolyn, your shoulder existed before you noticed it. It's existed. And it can do things that will amaze you. So sometimes you say to people, oh, now you have a shoulder. It's like, what? I had a shoulder before. So knowing what the jargon is and what's behind it is really important to be able to say to people, no, this is what I mean, and let me show you. Otherwise, their eyes go a little bit hazy and cross-eyed. So stay lying on your back and take your left arm and put it behind your head. Hold either the base of your neck on the right-hand side, or some of you might be able to hold your chin by now, or hold the line of your jaw on the right, or the cheek. Have your legs long. And just like you did when you were sitting, just start to initiate a little bit of a roll, so that you roll a little bit to the right and then you come back, just a little bit. And now come back to the middle. And now just do that with the pelvis. Think that you roll the pelvis a little bit around to the right and you return it to the middle. And there's different ways of doing this rolling of the pelvis. One way is to push your feet against the ground. Try that. Yeah, so you push one of the heels a little bit more firmly into the ground and the pelvis rolls off to the right. Yeah, so when you roll the pelvis to the right, the left-hand side will come closer to the ceiling, the right-hand side will come closer to the floor. That's it. Now, the other way is to not push the legs into the ground. Try that. And now go to the left. Roll the pelvis to the left. And as much as you can, as much as is possible, let the legs be free, without being occupied with pushing into the ground. And then go right and left, in really easy, smooth oscillations. Just right, left, right, left. Make it very rhythmical, very even, right, left. Because after a while, if you make it rhythmical, the momentum will just carry you forwards and on, just the inertia will carry you. That's it. See if it's possible not to press the heels, to let the legs be free. Kind of like ribbons dangling from your pelvis, or ropes, ribbons or ropes attached to your pelvis, and they're moving around because the pelvis is moving. Now go really, really fast. Fast, fast, fast. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And if you try to keep making a big movement, you're not going to go as fast because it takes a lot of work to make a big movement fast, but it takes a very little amount of work to make a small movement fast. Can the legs be free? Oh, okay. Try it with your legs completely together. Yeah, stick them together, see what that's like. And now try it with your legs flung apart. And try it like that. What's that like? And then not too close and not too far, you know, little baby bear. Not too hot, not too cold. Just right. And then slow down the movement just a little bit, and notice what's happening with that elbow, that left elbow above your head. Where does it go? What does it do? Is it affected? Good, and let that be, and rest, please. Stay on your back, have your legs long, and take your right arm around, was it right or left? Let's just say, no, your left arm. Take your left arm around the top of your head, the back of your head.
Same one?
Same arm, yep, same arm, left arm. And instead of rolling your pelvis, start to roll the top half of yourself around to the right. So it's the upper half of yourself, the head and the shoulders and the chest, that are creating the roll and not the pelvis. And now gradually involve more and more of yourself to keep on going around to the right. And there'll be a moment when the chest cannot roll any further by itself. It must bring something else along with it. So involve your waist, involve your pelvis. And there's a moment when the legs start to be actively involved as well. And just simply for the next few minutes, grow the movement until you arrive in sitting. But now with these new experiences to inform you, the experience of the chest being a little more soft, more spring-like, the relationship of the chest movement and the arm movement to the pelvis, knowing that you can actually roll your pelvis actively, and that the legs kind of are affected in their movement by the motion of the pelvis. So lots of new experiences to throw into the mix. And when you're rolling around to the right like this, what do you do with that right arm? Where do you place it on the floor where it can be of assistance? Because there's a moment that you could come up onto that elbow, that right elbow. There we go, that's it. And then once you're up on the elbow, you can use the hand. You can use the hand. I was just pacing you. It's all right. That's it, that's nice. Yeah. Remain lying on your back. And take the right arm around your head. Just settle yourself with the right arm around your head. And with the right arm around your head, now again roll yourself around to the right. And it's a different configuration. Same direction, different configuration of the arm. You've done this many times before now. So what can you do with that left hand to help? Now the free arm has to do something completely different to a moment ago. So the free arm is that arm that's not attached to your head, just in case some of you are confused. Now, yesterday I mentioned it many, many times, today not so many, about leaving that left hand on the floor. And there's a reason for that. If the left hand can remain on the floor, then the muscles of the chest and the muscles of the shoulder are not involved in lifting it. In other words, those muscles are not tense, which also then stiffen the chest. So by leaving the hand on the floor, you're creating the possibility for a freer chest, because it's not muscularly involved in lifting the arm. And if you want to feel the difference, just circle the arm around yourself with it always off the floor and feel the difference. Or better still, yeah, just stop on your back for a moment. Have the left hand long on the floor above your head. Because somewhere, yeah. And now lift the arm from the floor and put it down. And feel where in your trunk do you contract. Now, don't bend the elbow. Keep the arm as long as you can keep it and feel. To lift the arm, where do you contract? Can you feel your abdomen turning on, the muscles of the abdomen turning on? Can you feel the chest coming down towards the pelvis? Can you feel how you rock more onto the right-hand side of your pelvis? Yeah. Good. And now only lift your arm the width of a piece of paper. Yeah, so it's just enough to lighten. Feel, where do you work for that to happen? Now all that activity that happens in your trunk takes away a little bit from the flexibility of your chest. That's why you're having your hand on the floor. Okay, please return to doing the movement just a few more times before we finish. And see, is it possible to keep that left hand on the floor, and do allow your elbow to bend in this instance. In other words, don't wrench your shoulder out of its place, yes? Just to keep the hand on the floor with a straight arm. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. Nice, good. Leave that alone and rest. And this rest is not a rest. This rest is a moment for imagining. Imagine with doing that all the way around to the left, with the same arm around your head. Just imagine it. So we've been going right, right, right. Now think of the arm around your head. And going to the left. Just imagine it. And if you can imagine it, not so much as looking down on yourself from the outside, but imagine it through your body. That's a different way of doing it. Now please, take your arm around your head and in one movement, come up to sit all the way. Take your hand away. Nice. Good. And come up to stand. Feel what it's like to stand. And yes, we breathe when we stand, so feel what it's like to breathe and stand. And you also maintain balance while you're standing, so feel what it's like to balance as you stand. And then go for a little walk, feel what walking's like. And we'll have a long break. Come back at 1:45. Quarter to, yes. So, oh, did I say? Oh, no, no. 7. No, it's quarter. Oh, you can see I'm not going to get much better with time very quickly. No, 22, 20 to 1. 20 to 1. Thank you. I know, I know. 15-minute break. Yeah, don't worry. No, it's a wee break. Yeah, a wee break. Yeah, like you go to the toilet and you come back. That kind of break.
So what time will lunch be?
Probably 1:30.
I'm going to have that being straight away.
No, you have your lunch.